G'day legends, g'day superstars. The time has finally arrived. After 22 weeks of an amazing AFL season, we are down to the last round. 9 more games to set the scene for the 2022 final series. It is the biggest round 23 in recent memory. We've still got top 4 positions to be settled, top 8 positions to be settled, and the coveted number 1 draft pick are all up for grabs over the next 3 days. So I'm here, Peps, the 377-game superstar of the East Keeler Football Club, and Jamie the J-Dog Wallis has sent his tips through for a massive round 23 of tipped out action. And it doesn't start any bigger than tomorrow night. It is the Brisbane Lions versus the Melbourne Demons at the Jabba the Hutt, 7:50 p.m. The winner secures a top 4 position. It's as simple as this, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody is in. Out is Jordan for the D's, Leicester for the Brisbane Lions. We're going to keep it simple. We're taking the bias out of it, and we're just sticking to the facts. The D's smashed Brisbane earlier in the season at the MCG and also did a number of them in the finals last year. Brisbane have been playing good football. Lachie Neale has been amazing this year. Rayner has been sensational with 4 goals, and he will be pumped for a big night. We know what harms will probably go to Lachie Neale. Petrarca lives for games like this. Oliver lives for games like this. Viney lives for games like this. It's evenness across the board. And so this is going to be a game of inches. I am simply going with my team, not based on bias, but they need to get that top 4 spot. No team ever starting the season 10-0 has ever missed the top 4. And this could be the first time in history that it's occurred. Melbourne, in my eyes, will win, but it'll be under 2 goals. Jamie the J-Dog has also picked Melbourne by a slim 3 points. This will be an absolute barnstormer of a game. No need to get the Netflix, Amazon, Stan accounts out tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because that will be the game that you will want to watch. All right, let's get into a couple of these games that aren't really going to make much of a difference, but could impact the finals spots for a couple of individual teams. And we started with the GWS versus the Fremantle Dockers at 1:30 p.m. at Marnock Oval at GWS hometown. Let's have a look at the ins. Tom Green in, Peatling in, Stein is in, and the hospital area, Callum Ward is in as well. Aish, Chapman, Meek and Mundy as well, all in. Timmy Taranto's in, Peatling in as well, and also for the Dockers, Fife and Meek as well. Out, Tanner Braun, injured. Lockie Keefe, out, injured. And Xavier O'Halloran, Medi sub and out for the Dockers. Oh, Lobshot is out, injured. Bailey Banfield is the Medi sub, and Darcy Tucker has been left out. Michael Walters, playing his 200th game, has been an absolute star for the Fremantle Dockers, but you would want to think that his time is starting to just get a little bit on the other side of his career. So, GWS, we know they've got nothing to play for. Fremantle, they want to win because if Melbourne lose, they've got a massive chance to get into a top 4 spot. And so that's why I'm simply going with the Giants to win this one. Giants will want to finish the season off on a high. They've had an absolute Barry Crocker for the year. I'm tipping them to take it out by 4 goals. Hogan has been in great form. Himmelberg has been in great form as well too. Perryman's been doing fantastically good off halfback. And I just think they're going to be a little bit too more, how can I say, keen to take this one out. And I'd love to be able to dampen the Fremantle Dockers. J-Dog is going with the Dockers over 20 points. So it's going to be interesting to see what he looks at. He's hoping that they will make potentially top 4, if not finish 5th and get a home elimination final. All right. Let's go to a game which Doesn't mean as much from a top 8 perspective, but it is definitely going to make it matter when it comes to the number 1 draft pick. It's North Melbourne versus the Gold Coast Suns at Marvel Stadium, 2:10 p.m. Let's have a look at this. In is Mr. Stiffy, Aiden Bonner, Flim Perez, Jack Marnie, the hyphen, Jason Horn, Francis, and the grass eater, Josh Goethe, all in. In Mr. Raunchy, Alex Sexton, and Huago Paul Owea, all in for the Suns. Out, have a look at this for North. Aaron Hall, shut off, omitted. Jack Zeeble, injured. Jackson Archer, injured. Jaden Stevenson, injured. Jed Anderson, injured. Paul Curtis, injured. Out for the Suns. Isaac Rankin, out. Will that have been his last game for the Gold Coast? We'll see in a couple of weeks. Jeremy Sharp has been blunted and Sam Day has been knighted due to injury. Josh Goethe playing his first game. Good luck. I think the Gold Coast Suns are going to be too strong. This is not going to be a game that you're going to tune in for. It's all going to come down to the percentage side of things, because if Gold Coast do an absolute number on North, we are going to want to see what Geelong are going to do to West Coast as well down there at JMHBA Stadium. So I'm definitely going with Gold Coast, and I'm going by 6 goals. Jamie has decided for the Gold Coast he's going by North. North by 7 points. Jamie, have you even checked the changes? Oh, J-Dog, we might come back to Roo, but I don't think North will be wanting to win this one at all. They know that they've got that number 1 pick virtually locked in. They just have to lose and lose well. So I reckon they're going to take out the number 1 up. It's just going to come down to percentage, I reckon, and how much of a number Geelong, which is the game that we're going to have a look at right now, do on West Coast. That's going to be on tomorrow, 4:35 GMHBA Stadium. Now let's check out the teams for this one, because there is going to be a little bit of movement. In is Asava Radagalia and Isaac Smith. Jeremy Cameron, Twang, has gone out. Reece Stanley injured and Tom Atkins managed. In for the Eagles, Bailey Williams, Jai Cully, Tim Kelly, and Willie Rioli. Out, Gaff, Bradley Howe, Greg Clark, Jake Waterman, and Nick Nat injured. Okay. Geelong by 12 goals. Jamie has actually picked Geelong to win by 1,000 points. That's how confident he is on winning that particular game. Geelong, they've got the number 1 spot locked up. They've got the home final at the MCG locked up. Everything's been locked up for Geelong. They're just going to take this one, I would say, a little bit easier, but they will put the foot to the throat of the West Coast Eagles as well too. And I certainly agree with Jamie. It's going to be messy. I've picked 12 goals, but he's gone a lot more than that too. So we're not going to spend too much time on it, because we're going to move into Essendon versus Richmond. Once again, it's only for Richmond here. How high can they fly? It's at the MCG on Super Saturday. Let's have a look. 7:25 p.m. It could be dream time at the G for Rutten for his potential final game in charge. Or will Richmond come home and once again roar their way to potentially another flag? Michael Hurley is in for a final retirement game. And not much can be said about this guy that hasn't been said. A true internal legend of the club, to come back from what he's had with his hip, to play one final game is nothing short of extraordinary. So good luck to you, Michael Hurley. You've always been a reliable player, honest player, and someone that I always worry about sitting down back, taking out one of our best forwards every single week. So to whatever your future is, Michael Hurley from the Lace-Out family, all the best. Zach Reed is in, and for Richmond, Jack Ross is in as well too. Have a look. Benny Hobbs is the medi-sub. He's out. Kyle Langford injured, and Nick Flying Bryan has been granted, and he is omitted. Out for Richmond is Drac Graham and Jason Castagna at this stage. I would say Richmond by 5 goals. I think Essendon will have a massive crack at this one as well too, but I just don't think they're going to get it over the point. J-Dog's gone Richmond by 4 points, and I think there's not really much more to say about it. A very, very disappointing season from Essendon on and off the field, and Richmond will obviously do what they do best, which is charging towards another September premiership tilt. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at the Port Adelaide versus Crows game, 7:30 p.m. tomorrow night, Adelaide Oval. It is the showdown. A bit of banter's been thrown from the Port Adelaide side over to the Crows. I love it. I love a bit of spitefulness, and I know Ed Langdon has been thrown a bit over the last week or so. But I tell you what, Ollie Wines and his comments about an entitled football club, very, very interesting. Let's have a look at this. Robbie Gray is in for his last game ever. Jackson Mead has been consumed and he's out. And the other Mr. Stiffy, Riley Bonner, he is unfortunately flaccid. In for the Crows, Wayne Malera, Ben Davies is out, Shane McAdam is out, Darcy Byrne-Jones playing his 150th game. It's going to be the Port Adelaide mob taking this one out. They're all going to be doing it for Robbie Gray. J-Dog has gone by 9 points because that is Robbie Gray's number. I'm going with the same, mate. Why not change it if we don't need to? 9 points. I can't wait. Robbie Gray has been... I asked J-Dog during the week where he would fit, and he said he would definitely be in Port Adelaide's top 5 players of all time, which is a massive statement considering their massively successful stint in the AFL. All right, so awesome stuff there. Let's have a look at another game. Now we're moving into Sunday, August 21. Now this game is massive for one team and not for the others. We're talking about the Hawks versus the Western Bulldogs at UTAS. 1:10 p.m. Let's have a look. Daniel Howe is in. Jack Saunders, Jackson Callow, Max Lynch, and Ned Long all in for the Hawks. In for the Doggies, Jossie Bruce. Comb your hair, Robbie McCum. Taylor Giray and Tim O'Brien all in. Out. Interesting one, this. Jacob Kaczynski omitted for the last game of the year, and Jarman Impey has also been left out due to injury. Lucky McNeil has also been left out for the Doggies, and in is Jack Saunders and Ned Long. All the best with your future career, and Cotton Ash playing his 50th game. Doggies need to win. Doggies need to win to stay in a chance to play finals football. I was having a chat to somebody, and he's basically said earlier in the week that if the Doggies make it, they're not really going to do anything in the finals, which is quite surprising because their best is actually very, very good. But when they're bad, they're very, very bad. I just think that the Doggies need this more than Hawthorn. Kaczynski is going to be a big out. Also, Ben McAvoy, I think he's going to be his last game, I believe, as well. So I could be wrong on that one, but I just heard the rumours that he's going to be wrapping up. And if I've got that one wrong, that's what we do here at Tipped Out. We just go with our hearts and not with our heads. I'm going by the Bulldogs by 5 goals. Jamie's going by 32 points. I think the Doggies are going to keep their finals aspirations in check big time. And they're going to do it against the Hawks, who have been okay under Sam Mitchell's first season. All right. I'm going to skip a game because I'm leaving that one to the last because it's potentially the biggest home and away game this year. St Kilda versus the Sydney Swans, 4:40 p.m. at Marvell Stadium. Have a look at who's been brought in here. For the Saints, Dan Hanbury, Darren Joyce, Dean Kent, Jack Bytel, Joshy Battle, Ryan Burns, Tom Campbell, all brought in. Out, Brad Crouch suspended. Cooper Sharman injured. Jimmy Webster injured. Mason Wood injured. Hayden McLean in for the Swans as well as Sam Wicks and Will Gould. Nobody out at this particular stage. Dean Kent playing his 100th. Jason McInerney playing his 50th game. And Dan Hanbury playing his last game of AFL football. His transition from the Swans over to the Saints was massively disappointing for the Saints. He's only played, I think, 16 to 17 games in his total time for the Saints. But you've got to remember, he is a premiership hero down at the Swans, and that is the type of career that we should be looking back on. And that's the type of player that St Kilda wanted to bring in, but unfortunately, injuries have cruelled his time down there. St Kilda need to win to play finals, and they also know if they beat Sydney are a massive chance not to make that top 4, even though I have still picked them to play in the grand final this year. I've just got a sneaking suspicion St Kilda are going to win this. Don't ask me why. There has to be an upset out of one of all these finals type games, and I reckon St Kilda could do this one. J-Dog's gone, Sydney by 17. I'm going to go St Kilda by 15 points. It's going to be very, very tight. City been playing awesome football. They decimated Collingwood last week. They'll be setting themselves for finals football, and they could let this one get under the radar. As long as St Kilda do what they did last week and kick it to Max King, please kick it straight. You kick straight, you can win. But I do look at Sydney's midfield when you've got Rowbottom, Warner, Goulden. You have a look at the forward line, Papley, Heaney, Haywood. It makes it massively difficult for them to get across the line, but I just think something is going to happen, and that's going to be the game it's going to be. All right. Let's take a look at potentially the biggest home and away game that I reckon since Geelong and St Kilda went against each other many, many moons ago when they were both the unbeaten teams in the AFL. We're talking about Collingwood. We're talking about Carlton. Traditional rivals at a traditional time, 3:20 p.m. Sunday. Don't do a thing. Sit down in front of the TV because you can't get a ticket because apparently it's sold out, and just watch a game that is going to be so emotionally filled on and off the field. I can't wait to see what happens. Let's look at the moves here. At the moment, Adam Cerra is in. Georgie Hewitt, 2 big ins. Add a third one here of Tom De Koning and Zach Williams. Hasn't played since round 9 this year. Paddy Dow is out as the Medi sub. In for Collingwood, Finlay McRae, Jordan De Goey and Oliver Henry, no outs at this stage. Darcy Cameron plays his 50th game. Carlton was stiff last week. They played the better football of Melbourne and Carlton last week. And if they only could hit one kick, just one simple kick, they would be playing finals. But you know, you've got to play 4 quarters, and I mean a complete 4-quarter performance. Collingwood had their streak broken last week by a massively awesome Sydney up there at the SCG. But this is the home of football. This is where the finals are played. This is where the grand final is played. And this is literally an elimination final for Carlton. After what I saw last week with the inclusions of Cerra, with the inclusion of Hewitt, and also De Koning coming in with a bit of an injury cloud under Ginnivan, and potentially De Goey, don't know if he's 100%. I am going Carlton to win this under Collingwood's margin of 10 points. Now, J-Dog has gone with the Collingwood Magpies to take this one out by 4 points. So we think this is going to be tight. Very tight. Tight like a toiga, everybody. But I'm just looking at this. When you get that second from contested footy midfield of Cerra, Hewitt, Cripps, Walsh, and Pittonet putting the ball down their throats, I think they bat really nicely against the Collingwood midfield. I think the forward line of Carlton is better than the forward line of Collingwood, but the back line of Collingwood is playing better football than of Carlton. So I'm just going with what I would love to see, and I would love to see Carlton take over Collingwood. That means Melbourne will play finals footy in 4th position. There's my bias coming out, but it's just a cracking round of footy. It's round 23, and the final 8 is usually locked in by this particular time, especially top 4, but I can't remember a round of football where there's just so much on the line. So there's tipped out for you all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope your team wins. I hope you have a great week of footy. We're going to be on next week to have a bit of a look at the season ending and some of the changes, etc. Remember, Lace Out is going to be joining you live next Tuesday night on the Facebook page. And also then you can listen to our beautiful podcast coming in on Google Podcast, Apple Connect. Like, subscribe, leave a review for us. But more importantly, I'm Chris Pepper. That's Tipped Out, and that's how you want your footy tips. We'll see you next week to start talking finals footy. See you, listeners.